Hey guys, Kev here, and I wanted to do a first impressions, first look at the Smith & Wesson CSX E-Series. This is the 3.6 inch barrel version. There is also a 3.1 inch barrel version as well, which I guess comes to about here and is a little bit smaller, a little more pocketable. I'm going to be carrying this in a like crossbody type bag from 945 Industries. I'm going to be doing a video on that probably with this and maybe the bodyguard. I have one for that too on the range. Practice some drills or drawing, whatever, showing how that bag works. It's just honestly the most comfortable way for me to carry. I work from home, so when I need to leave the house, and I'm gonna bring one, because if I'm going to pick up my kid or drop off my kid, I'm going to a school where it's a issue. But if I go anywhere else, then I can grab a bag. Something it's just easier. I don't want to have something on me pushing against my body all day while I'm sitting in my office chair in my house. So anyway, that's kind of the way I do it. So I went with the longer barrel, right? It just made sense for me. I figured I'd get a little bit more out of it. And with the way this gun is set up, you can swap out the grips and make it longer. And it comes with a 15 and a 17 round mag as well as the 12 rounder that's in it. I figured it would basically have a full size grip, and then I could, kind of use it like a full size pistol if I wanted to. We'll see how big I can make it and still carry it and fit it. But I just thought it would be an interesting gun to have and to check out. I love the Bodyguard 2.0, and I just think this is a sort of hammer-fired version of it. It is a 9mm instead of 380, and it is a little bigger and thicker, but similar kind of concept. So I thought it'd be interesting. And this is the updated version. So the original CSX only came in the 3.1 inch version and apparently had a horrible trigger where the reset was god awful. I don't know about the just trigger pull in general. I will say the first thing I noticed about this gun when I got to the gun shop, shout out to Highland Outfitters, my local FFL. Love those guys. Check them out. Good peeps. If you live in Pennsylvania, definitely worth checking out or giving them a call to find you something or whatever. But when I went in there, the first thing I noticed is that the trigger pull it was ridiculously heavy. I mean, you could see there's nothing in here. It was just locked back. So you have this little dingus on the trigger, and then you have this interesting looking trigger. I think it's polymer. It would be cool if that was aluminum, but I think it's polymer. It has a little number 2 on it. I'm not sure what that is about. I don't know if you could swap these out for shorter or longer ones, maybe. That would be cool. It doesn't come with any, but I don't know, just curious what that's for. But yeah, I went to pull on it, and I thought maybe I had the safety up because it was just so heavy. I mean, look at this. It's pretty bad. So the first thing I did when I left was search, like CSX trigger upgrade, CSX trigger adjustment. Like, is there anything you can do with this thing? And according to the very quick Reddit, stuff I read online, or maybe it was a Smith & Wesson forum, a lot of guys were saying it broke in. So after 300 rounds or so, they said it dropped down to like a 4.5 pound trigger, which to me would be acceptable. Although I will say I was kind of expecting more of a single action light trigger pull. Now I didn't expect it to be like 2 pounds, but I thought it would maybe be like 3.5 pounds, something like that. But it's not. It's got to be like 7 pounds at least. It is rough. And it does feel like just sitting here and racking and pulling the trigger. Some guys were saying dry firing a shit ton helped. So I'm kind of just sitting here pulling the trigger over and over to just see if it breaks. And it does feel like maybe it lightened up a little bit. I had the trigger gauge out, just a Wheeler digital trigger gauge. One problem with this is it can be hard sometimes to get this piece into the trigger guard with some of these, but I was getting a 7.5, I would say, 7 pound, 7.5 average. We'll see. We can do 10 here and see where we end up. So that's 5.11. So I think we're going to end up closer to 6. 6.13. So that's a big gap there. I don't know if I'm doing something weird here. 6.12. 6.13. 6.5. 6, 2.4. 6.5. So you can see we're right around 6.5. One more. I just like to do 10 or 20 to make it very accurate in case I throw one or whatever. Okay, so 6 pounds, 7.3 ounces. To me, that is incredibly heavy for a single action gun. I mean, this is meant to be single action. It's a stronger trigger pull than my Bodyguard. My Bodyguard 2.0 has I think one of them has a 5 pound trigger and one of them has like a 6 pound trigger, something like that. This is 6.5. Is that what we just came up with? I mean, that's crazy. I think so. But anyway, apparently it breaks in and it'll drop 2 pounds. That seems wild. But I do have some ideas for this gun to possibly get it modified later on. I was thinking about maybe sending it to Skip's Guns. I've been meaning to get something done by Skip. I was thinking about sending my staccato there, but man, I just really love how it shoots stock. I don't think, putting a chunk port into that barrel block is really going to help much, to be honest. So this might be a cool one for something like that. Maybe they can do something about this trigger, and maybe put a chunk port up here or inline ports or something would be cool. So we'll see if I can get that done. But I do want to get it set up. I got to put a dot on it. We can do that here. And then I want to take it apart, show you guys the inside of this thing. I also want to show you how all the accessories work. Comes with a shit ton of stuff. So we're going to get into all that. I know this is going to be a longer video, but that's, if you guys have been watching, that's how my channel goes. I like to be detailed and nerd out a little bit. So anyway, yeah, that's kind of my initial thoughts on the trigger are, Jesus, just too heavy. But, what are you going to do? So first thing I want to do is just show you all the parts and stuff, and then I think we'll go ahead and swap the magazine release, install the optic, and take the gun apart. So it comes with a 12-round magazine that is flush fit, okay? It obviously comes with a right-hand mag release installed. It comes with a 15-round magazine, and it comes with a 17-round magazine. These are all set up to be, at this point, flush fit. Now, they also come with these mag sleeves. So you get 3 different mag sleeves, and it depends on how you set up the grip. So if you leave the grip in this configuration, which I'll show you the last couple parts, there's this back strap, which you can replace this one with. So basically you can look at it as small, medium, and then this one is the large back strap. Okay. It comes with a left-handed mag release, which is really cool that they did it this way. It is a, what do they call that? It's like a self-contained spring or whatever. And then it comes with this little tool as well. And I just ripped that Ziploc, but that's okay. Comes with this little palm swell tool. It also comes with this palm swell tool. And you could also, I think, use this for takedown as well, if you want. And then the mag release, okay? So what you can do, and then here's the manual. It comes in the cardboard Smith & Wesson box. There's the lock and some, random papers and shit, but this is the manual for it. And that's for both models. That's what the 3.1 looks like. So it comes with this medium strap-on. Strap-on. And you can remove that. So you want to remove the slide. And then you want to take this little punch. You can also use the big one if you want. There's a little retaining pin right there. You can see it through the bottom here. And you just drop this in there like that and push down to push that pin spring down. And then you just push back and it'll release the palm swell. Palm swell is notched in up here and then with the spring down here. So, show you here. Push down. I can feel it. Press in. And then it'll release it off of there. And now I have the medium palm swell right here. And you have a small palm swell. So when you install this one, I'm not going to put it all the way on because I really don't want this one. It basically is the same as this one, but a little bit thinner. So you have less material back here, and it doesn't have the side swells here. So it makes it the thinnest and shortest, I guess, grip. Well, thinnest this way and thinnest this way. It's not any longer or shorter. These two are the same length. They both take the 12 rounder flush. Okay. Whatever. I'll just put this one on for demonstration purposes. To put on one of these, you want to just line it up, get that notch down there, and then you want to push on the spring here and then just kind of pull forward on the strap and it will pop it into place. So now this is locked in and it's really secure. It's not moving around or anything. And then now this is on there and I can put in the 12 rounder. So it actually feels pretty good with the with either of these smaller back straps on. I like the medium one, obviously, because it has the side straps, which also have the stippling. But as you can see, I can get a full grip on this, and that's with a large glove size hand or a very well filled out medium. But usually a large glove size hand. And, I can come up under the trigger guard here, and I still get all those fingers on. Sorry about the Band-Aid, but so it's relatively comfortable even in the smallest form factor. I can get a full grip with the magazine in. It's comfortable, which is nice. I like that quite a bit. Now what you can do is remove that 12 rounder if you want to use a 15 rounder. Well, of course, it's going to be sticking out the bottom like this, right? So they give you one of these sleeves that you can put on. And apparently these sleeves, they are very tight fit so that they're not moving around a bunch. Apparently on the original CSX, they were very loose and people complained about that. So they upgraded that. But you can see here what that looks like. It does look better with this medium back strap on. because you have the stippling all around there, and you know, just looks a little better. But you get the idea. So this is how you rock the 15 rounder. That's what that looks like. You know, it's a little longer looking in the handle, but it works, obviously. Then you could take the 17 rounder, same concept here, with no sleeve on it. It looks goofy, but you can pop on this sleeve, yeah, this way, and slide this down, and you pop that in. Now you have 17 rounds in here, and you have a full-size grip. I mean, look at that. Full-size grip. That is pretty cool, to be honest. So very nice there. But what you can also do is put this guy back in, push down and pull back. Did I get it? All right. Stop messing around with that little guy and just use a big one. That's what she said. Push down. There you go. Punch it out. Scratch up your aluminum grip, which is fine. I don't care. And that'll come up, and then you can put the big daddy on right here. Just get it notched in, and this is where this pin guy or this longer tool comes in handy. Push this down. I guess you can go through here if you want. Can you? Or am I not seeing? I don't know. Let me just push on it here. Just enough to get it in. There you go. So now you have this as your grip, which feels more full size. Yeah, just press so it all clicks in. I guess there's some other areas where it clicks. But this feels really good. I have stippling all around, and I have this extra area down here. Part of it is stippled. It's pretty comfortable. It feels good. So now the 12 round magazine does not fit. Okay? So you're losing the capability of using one of your magazines, which is the reason why some people are going to keep it the other way. But the 15 rounder is now flush fit. So now you have a flush fit 15 round magazine in here. Okay? And then you can take this little guy right here, put that on the 17 rounder like this, and now you have a 17 round mag in here. And I would say it's the most comfortable of the grips. You know, it looks a little goofy. You got a cut here and a cut here, whatever. But none of that bothers me. I think it's really nice that you have that option. So now you can go with either option. And what I would do, personally, is probably buy a couple of the 17 rounders, because why not have more rounds, right? And if you're going to use these as backup mags, then you could buy the 17 rounders and keep those stocked up as your backup, and then run the 15 flush, so you have that little bit of less grip, you know, to worry about. But I think that's a really cool setup right there. So that's how the grips work. That's all of these pieces, right? Which the other cool thing about putting the larger grip on is, are we shaking here or what's going on? Putting the larger grip on is you don't have to worry about all those little pieces. You know, you have the one on the 17 round mag, which I'm assuming if you buy extra 17 rounders, they come with the sleeve on them already. Okay. Sorry about that if it's shaking. I don't know why that keeps happening. Is my desk bumped into the... Let me try this, because my my camera arm is not attached to the desk, so it shouldn't be shaking, but the desk must be somehow connected to it, or bumping it. So yeah, they should come with these sleeves if you get the 17 rounders, I assume. But you know, I could be wrong. All right, so let's get into the mag release. So I'm going to put this little tool back. And here is the lefty mag release. So we got to remove the righty one first. Usually the way this works is you take a little flathead and you just turn this a notch. You push in and turn. That's usually how it goes. But I do need a little flathead for this. I have an idea. Have my little toolkit here. I'm thinking one of these tools for adjusting dots might work. Is that going to get in there far enough? Let's see if it works. Yep. So you just push in and turn it clockwise, and that captures the spring. This is the piece right here that you're capturing, I think. It's like a little key. And when you turn that, it captures the spring in place. Then you take your left-handed mag release and you slot that in. Let's see. Does it go in this way or does it go through the back? Looks like it goes through the back. Okay. So you slot that in and then you take your flathead and you're going to want to do the same thing, right? So because we're now reversed, I think it's the same way. Push in and turn clockwise. See, did not get it that time. Nope. So I think I captured it again there. So let's see. Should push in and turn clockwise. And now it is captured. So now I have a lefty mag release on my CSX E-Series. So something you guys might have noticed on the channel with the guns I have checked out so far is I am trying to find guns that have ambi capability or have lefty friendly options. So I don't want to buy any guns that don't have a lefty mag release. To me, that's something that's really important. It is super annoying pressing with your like middle finger down here or index finger or whatever. It's just not, it's not for me. I don't have to have the slide release on this side, but I am finding that the guns that I'm getting that have that, I do kind of like it. But it's not something I have to have. The mag release, I have to have. I also really don't want any guns that are not direct mount for the optic. Unless, in the case of my Staccato HD, it's a pass-through plate. So the way the plate works on the Staccato HD is you put the plate down, and that plate allows you to put the dot that you want on it, but it's set very low, and when you mount it, you're still mounting directly into the slide. You're not mounting a plate to the slide and then mounting an optic to that plate. In my opinion, that is a terrible setup. You're just asking for trouble. Or any of those setups where they have those little like T-nut things or whatever they're called, that are basically like a consumable part. I don't want anything to do with that. I want direct milled or some kind of host system like Staccato has, or the BAO system that Bull Armory has. Stuff like that where, yeah, it's a plate, but your putting the optic straight through the plate into the slide. It's still a direct mount. So that's what I want. And obviously if it has a safety, it needs to have an ambi safety, which by the way, the safety on this is pretty good. It's working very well from the left side, I will say. That is something to think about. I handled a couple of Springfield Prodigies, and man, it was rough. The left side safety was just not functioning very well. It didn't want to work. So the way that the ambi safety is set up is actually important. This one's smooth. The first time I disengaged it, it felt stiff and tough to move, but after that first one, it's really easy to engage and disengage. No problem there. Again, we have the optic plate up here. This does take an RMSC and I believe Holosun K footprint direct mount, which is cool. We're going to mount a dot on here. And it also does not include the rear sight. So the cover plate is independent of the rear sight, meaning when you install the optic, you still have your rear sight to use as, I guess, a backup or co-witness. I'm not sure the height, and I don't know any of that yet, but the rear sight does not need to come off, where on a lot of guns like this, because of the size of them, the plate will include the rear sight, and then you take the plate off, put the dot on, boom, rear sight's gone. And now you're kind of, usually screwed unless there's like a rear sight built into the dot, which is common. So, yep, it has a external extractor, so we don't have any of that kind of internal extractor nonsense to deal with that these, double stack 1911 style guns have issues with a lot. Which is what this is, basically, is a mini 2011. It's a double stack 1911. That's the style of gun, the build of the gun. It's just, Smith & Wesson's version of it. And they did a pretty good job with it so far. Obviously, I haven't shot it. We'll talk about it more on the range. You have an anti-glare strip right here, which is cool. The serrations on the slide, I was a little surprised. They're the fish scale style from Smith & Wesson. They're not horrible, but they're not great either. And I was kind of surprised because I've actually really enjoyed slide serrations from Smith & Wesson in the past. So I thought it was interesting that these aren't super grippy. The front ones aren't as grippy, but they're still fine. And the rear ones actually are pretty decent. They don't have a ton of bite, but there's enough there that it catches me, and it kind of has these ears built in. So you do get a good grasp on the last bit there of the slide. The slide feels pretty smooth. I mean, for a Smith & Wesson, we're talking a 6 to 7 Benjamin firearm here. I got this for 6.5 Benjamins and that was delivered. So, keep in mind, a lot of places you have what we like to call tax. My little Trump impression. And so having the price delivered at 6.5 is really nice when the retail price on these is 7. And that's before you get into sales tax and stuff like that. So delivered to my FFL, this was 6.5, and that's with everything here. And that would be the same for the 3.1 as well, and that's for the E-Series, the newer version. So I did get this from Cliff's Firearms. I've mentioned them in the past. They're kind of my go-to online FFL, so to speak, because they're not local to me. But I communicate with them via text. You can communicate with them through IG or Instagram. But just check out Cliff's Firearms. They're really good people. They hook it up with the best deal they can on whatever you need. Whether it's pews, gear, cans. They do cans. Definitely worth hitting them up for whatever you need. Just hit them up and ask if they have it, you know. But yeah, let's get into it. So the takedown is going to be interesting because you have the Ambi slide release. So this is the takedown pin right here as well. So it's not as easy as just pushing it through. But I think I learned a trick on my staccato. We're going to see if it works on this. Otherwise, we'll use a tool. Probably this one would fit right in here to punch that out. But let's see if the trick works. So you just need to slide it back to the point where it lines up. I got to figure that out. I'm looking at so many lines here because you have this area and then you have that area. So I'm wondering, where do I line this up? Do I line it up here? Or back here more? This is as far back as it goes. So this is for the slide lock. Got it. So I think I need to move it forward a bit to probably have this be in this area here, is my guess. And this has a stronger recoil spring than my staccato, so it is a little bit tougher, but I'm going to try here. Bring it to right about here and reach in and punch it and see if that works. So I think I got to back it up a touch. To right, where is that spot, man? This is tough to figure out. Getting your finger in there is tough too. Trying to see, can I figure it out from this side? No. Just looking for any kind of indicator that I can find, but I think this is the spot right here. I can push on this, but I can't really get to this part, which is where the pin is. So I'm going to go for option 2. See if I can't hold it here and punch it through this side. So is it not where I hold it? Hang on a second. Okay, so yeah, that trick would not work because the takedown is actually way sooner. I was going all the way back here. The takedown is right here, so you want to bring this notch back to about here. So it's sooner than I thought. So you're not going to be able to get anything into the ejection port to do that. So you do want to just use the tool, I think. Line it up like this and then punch the tool from this side is what I'm guessing. I just got to get it lined up right. I think I had it there. Just got to hold it. No, don't want to come out. It's so hard to hold it and do it at the same time without, like, if you're right-handed, it's your dominant hand. You know what I mean? So for me, it's just weird. I'm trying to get it to the right spot. Let me see if I can find another good way to do this. So the hole is right here. So where am I lined up? Is there anything I can see? The barrel is lined up right there. Going to be difficult. Let me see if I can gauge it so that it's right about there. And then I'm just using a punch on this. Go back a little further. Right there. Yeah, I think I'm sliding forward, so it's like difficult. How are you supposed to do this without seeing anything, you know? It's fucking pain in the ass. Yeah, I keep sliding forward. Right there. Right? And then it slips. So let me try this then. Come on, dude. I got it to move a little bit, but can't get the best grip on it. Can't get a grip on that at all. Can I get behind here? No. Really gotta like find this pin and fucking punch it without seeing shit. See if I can do it this way. Ah, man, it fucking hurts too. There's no way to see it from this side. You know. Can I use this thing? Is this punch just too big? Is that the problem? Yep, that's the problem. Okay, need a smaller punch. Would this work? Oh, it's close. I need something. Oh, you know what? I usually use this guy. Let's see if that works. Yes. Okay. So I think I just had a punch that was too. There we go. So the punch was just too fat. Didn't want to go through all the way. That wasn't too bad once I figured it out, you know. Sorry about being an idiot, but, you know, I'm sure other people will struggle with this. So, it's not coming out. There it is. Just takes a little bit of pressure, comes out. And here is your lower. I'm going to put the safety up. I'm just going to leave it, actually. It looks pretty nicely oiled and everything. This is an aluminum lower. It's not very heavy, but it is aluminum, which is nice. Better than polymer, that's for sure. Just kind of looking at some stuff. See this like hook right here? I wonder what that is. Just don't know off the top of my head. It's probably something obvious, but some kind of disconnect or goes back. Interesting. Okay. You can kind of see the trigger bar in there. It's only one-sided, looks like. A lot of times on 1911 style guns, obviously, the trigger housing or whatever is on both sides. The transfer bar, trigger bar, whatever we're calling it. So it's a little different in this. Interesting to see, like you can see the whole trigger assembly in there. Pretty cool. Okay. So that's the lower half. And then we have the slide. And for this, let me put away these parts that I don't need anymore. That's the right-handed mag release and that pin. Put that there. For the recoil spring, should be pretty straightforward. Release it and pull out. Doesn't seem like a super strong spring. It is a flat wire spring, which is interesting in a good way. That's a good thing, that it's flat. So, pretty, you know, just recoil spring. Then your barrel, which comes out, interesting. So your barrel comes out like a tilt style Glock style gun where it comes out the slide like that. It doesn't come out the front like on a 1911 you get a bushing gun or whatever. This is, I believe, a bull barrel. It looks like, well, I don't know. You guys tell me. I'm not an expert on that. I feel like bull barrels usually get a little bit thicker as they come out. But it's got a decent thickness to it, which is good. Take a look in here and see if we got any dirt, any grime. Should have put gloves on for this part. Just gonna wipe down this stuff. It's probably got, you know, factory goop on it. It is a built-in link, right? That's interesting to me, who's learning a lot as I go here. Polished feed ramp, nice. Here's the inside of the slide. You have your plunger here, so this must be a firing pin safety, which I guess would make it a Series 80 trigger, which is interesting because there's not really any take-up. It's a little bit. Is that what that hook does? Does that hook come back? So that hook comes back. See it? There. I'm wondering if that hook comes back and up and depresses that firing pin plunger here. That might be what it does. It lifts up and pushes this up. Just a random guess. I don't know. That's what it kind of looks like though. So don't know if removing that would change the trigger at all. Not that I would really want to do that anyway, but just saying. Some schmutz in here. Usually, you know, your gun gets test fired a little bit so they can check accuracy and reliability before they send it out to a dealer or distributor, wholesaler, or whatever. So there's usually some shit in there. I usually clean my guns out when I get them. I'm not going to go crazy because I know you guys don't want to see that. Just looking at the breech face or whatever you would call that area right there. Let's see how dirty that is. Nah, doesn't seem like there's anything on there. It's fine. Some interesting like dots in here. I don't know what that stands for. Some kind of machining code or whatever. But they have this channel right here. Something to note. I believe this is what that is. So they have this little channel and it has like a little ledge, I think, at the top of it. And that is supposed to help deflect, I believe, debris and gases and shit so that it doesn't go into your optic. So your optic glass doesn't get blurred up real fast with gunk and shit like that from the ejections. So it has that little notch there for that. That's what I believe that is. I saw some marketing on that from them. Here's your sights, 3-dot Novak style, I think these are called. You know, I've had these on different guns. Does seem like a pretty wide rear sight notch there. Look at that. So, you know, kind of reminds me of the Bodyguard 2.0, the OG one, that also has a really wide notch on the rear. So it's hard to be super accurate with it, especially as you back up from distance. But, yeah. Both sights are have the channel here. I forget what it's called, where you can just knock it in. So you can replace these. No big deal. Okay. So we have that. It looks like the extractor is held in with a pin. So you can see that little pin right there. So it should be pretty easy to remove. Let's go ahead and take off the optic cover plate here. Just looking at it. Looks like, is it Torx or Hex? I think it's Torx, actually. Let me grab my other one here. Is it though? This is a T8. Let me just see. Man, it is really hard to tell. But to me, it kind of looks like Hex. Smaller. Let me see. Oh, I did have a mini flathead, probably from the last time I had to swap a mag release. Could have just used that. So that does not fit. 3/32. I mean, going smaller than that is pretty damn small. Nope. Do I have one? There it is. Okay. So these optic plate cover screws look to be a 5/64. Probably use this driver. Loctited, which I think is good. Red Loctite? Eesh. Okay. Not my favorite concept there, but they want to make sure they don't come out on you, so that's fair. Just make sure you push the bit in, because it goes in quite a bit, and you don't want to strip it out or break it. That one broke a little easier, which is interesting. Okay. So there you go. Like red Loctite screws. And let's see if we can get this off without having to pry on it. Really don't want to do that. Oh, wait. Interesting. Might have spoke too soon about the sight. I guess they're assuming your dot is going to lock it in place. I do like how they put M4 threads right there. That helps me a lot with figuring out which screws to use. So this seats into place. So I lied about the back sights. Replacing those is going to be difficult. Does look like you can. You have a screw here, but I don't. That's probably for elevation. Maybe like an adjustment screw. I don't know. That's what it looks like to me, more than something to replace them with, but I could be wrong. Then under here we have a spring-loaded piece. Looks like that's this firing pin safety piece, I guess. Really interesting in here. So you can't just remove this, it looks like. There's a spring in there, though. Pushing that up. There's got to be a way to get that out. Just don't see that immediately. Can I just lift it out? I don't know. But I don't really need to take it out, so it's not a big deal. And then you have these little recoil lugs right here. So let me get the dot. I'm going to go with a new dot that I was sent for review, and that is the OSight K. So this guy is releasing in mid-September, I believe. And it is the new brother in the line with the OSight S and the OSight SE. So, give you a look at it. I'll also talk about it on the range video, make it easier. But basically, the difference is it is a open emitter versus a closed emitter on the SE. So the S is a closed emitter that has the battery hood charger. The The SE is the closed emitter with the battery tray, which is probably the one you want. And then the K is now the same size and everything, but it's an open emitter with the battery tray. So hopefully that makes sense. So yeah, I do like the SE quite a bit, and probably that would be my preference. But if you're trying to be as affordable as possible, then the K makes a lot of sense, especially if you're not worried about, like, you're going to be in some situations where you get mud and shit down in there. Very unlikely. But for the price point, you know, low 200s for these, and you can use my code LeftyEDC at OSight. It'll save you 20%. So even less. These closed emitter dots are ridiculous. But if you want to save even more, like I think these are like 170 or something, and then you can get 20% off. I mean, it's crazy how affordable they are. And the quality, guys, you know, again, I'm not going to sit here and tell you I'm some red dot expert and I'm a competition shooter who knows everything, because we all know that none of that's true. But after spending a good amount of time with the different OSights since they came out with the X and the S, not the ones from last year or earlier, I never messed with those at all. They've all been phenomenal. They've held up extremely well. Honestly, I can't tell the difference between the OSights and the Holosuns I've tried. The EPS carry, the Holosun 507 comp. Comparing the S, the SE, and now the K to the EPS carry, and comparing the Holosun 507 comp to the OSight X and the OSight C, it's really impossible for me to tell the difference. Honestly, one of the things I like better about the OSight ones is they don't have billboarding all over them in white font like Holosun does. The OSight lettering is all blacked out, so you don't have to buy Ranger wraps to cover it up like I did, because I hate the white lettering all over it. So just for affordability, these are incredible. In my humble opinion. And I'm going to be testing this one out. And this is a gun I'm going to carry occasionally, so it does matter to me. So it looks like I was wrong. And you do have to remove the rear sight. When mounting a red dot. So I think I was misinformed, because I think I saw somewhere, I don't know if it was another review I saw or what, but people were saying the rear sight's not connected to the optic plate, which is like awesome or whatever, because you don't have to remove it, you know. I guess they never put an optic on, because you do have to remove it. But whatever. As you can see, this dot has a rear sight channel, so it's not going to be a big deal anyway. And it does cover up that portion back there where that firing pin safety is. Or if that plunger's for something else, you know, whatever. Let me know. So, M4 threads. Now, I've never seen OSight. I've never seen them list M4 screws, but I'm thinking that they have them. They're just listed under a different name. And I'll show you what I mean in a second. So OSight gives you these awesome screw boxes. So show you here. You get the tool. You get extra battery cover screws, sorry. And then here are the screws. Oh, they do have M4. My bad. I swear the other one I looked at yesterday did not have M4 screws. But maybe I'm crazy. I'm going to check, because I think it was this one, the C. I just want to see if I'm crazy. Is it a size thing? Like, because it's a larger dot, they have different screws in there? Because I swear this one did not say M4 on it. Let's check and see how crazy I am. Yeah, see, look. This one doesn't say M4 here. It says 4 to 40. Now, that might be the same thing, but there is a difference there. I could have sworn I am right. But I do think that those fit into the M4 slots anyway on my echelon, so they might just be the same thing, different way of describing it. You know, European versus China or whatever. US. So M4 screws. Now you can see they have pass through here. I can see straight through, so I don't have to worry about nicking a spring or anything. And those threads are pretty deep in there, so I'm going to go with the longest screw I can get, right? I think that would be prudent. So I can get it out of here. Come on. You don't want to come out. Okay. It's going to be a T10, so let me get the T10 out while we're here. T10, where are you? You are right here. T10. All right. Let's see if we can get it out this way. Yep. We gotta literally screw it out. It's in that foam, baby. Let's see how long these are. Nice and long. Should be good. That's what she said. Pop that through. We got plenty of threads there. I like that. That's going to be tight like a tiger. All right. Let's get one more out. I'm going to do a test fit. I always do a quick test. Make sure they are going to fit properly. Worst thing to do would be to get your Loctite out and all that shit. And then have the Optic be loose when you tighten it down, because that does happen sometimes. So let me just put this to the side. I don't want to bore you guys with putting shit back together over here. All right, drop this in. I'll just put it on the driver. Okay, no I won't. All right, there we go. So I'm just going to do a quick check. I'm not going to go crazy cranking it or anything. I'm just making sure that this is the correct length I need. Okay, those are tight. We have no wiggle or anything. You can see the screw heads are not busting out of the inside of the slide or anything wild. So we are good to go. So I will remove them. Try to keep my driver straight, because unfortunately on a lot of optics, especially the RMR size, the hood, this area will get in the way of the driver. So you need like a super thin driver, and otherwise you bump it into the hood here and you actually ding up the aluminum. Doesn't matter that it's 70-75 or whatever, the coating gets dinged up, metal on metal, you know. So, but with these smaller ones, it seems to be less of an issue. So, all right. Then we get my Loctite. I use Vibratite 122, which is oil tolerant. And I get it in this nice little container. Comes with the needle applicator. You can get these from OrionKnives.com. OrionKnives.com. Great dude. Also has cool knives. But he sells that stuff for a good price. It's like $5. And you get that whole thing. Just going to clean the screws. Make sure there's no oil on them. Should probably do the same to the threads to be safe because we want it to cure. Now this is oil tolerant. It's oil tolerant Loctite, but that doesn't mean I need to be stupid and risk it, right? I'm just gonna drive that in. See if we get any gunk out of there. Yeah, see, look at that. You know, that might have caused some issue trying to cure the Loctite. Get some alcohol in here and do it again. Lay that down. Better safe than sorry. I know going quick is ideal, especially for me because right now it's super late and I'm always on a crunch with the kids and shit. So clean that out. All right. Now we can do this one of two ways. I think I'm going to do it this way. We're going to put them in first. No need to put thread locker on threads that aren't going to be used. And I'm just going to drop it on this side here. I'm going to put a little there. And yes, it already has, technically it has thread locker on it. But I don't trust that. I feel like that never actually holds that well. It's already cured and it gets busted up when you tighten the screw down. So I do my own. You do whatever you want. If you put a little too much, guess what? That's not the end of the world because this is a gun. And it needs thread locker. So worst case, you gotta, give it a little extra crank on the way out. But if you use good screws, which these come with, you're good to go. All right, I'm gonna shut up, start cranking these in. Obviously, you want to make sure you're not stripping anything or cross-threading. So, make sure you can do that by turning it counterclockwise till it clicks. And then go clockwise to tighten. I like to do each side a little bit at a time and not crank them down one at a time because I don't want it to be off kilter. So I just kind of get it in there that way and then I tighten it down. And then I'm going to get my torque wrench or torque thingy, this guy. And I put it on the end up here because, again, you only have so much space down here. Fitting this fat thing down there doesn't really work. That's what she said or he said. So now I can go like this, turn it to the right spot. I usually go to 25. I know that's a little more than they usually recommend 15. I don't trust 15. And then this torque wrench thingy only goes, it has a 25 mark, so I just use that. I have not had a single issue doing that. I've never had a screw break off or anything. So that's what I stick with. But there we go, it is mounted. Looks good on here, actually. Now I need a little flathead. So let me test out my little flathead right here. Put that in my Divo screwdriver. Coming soon. Yep. Unscrew that. And pull this out. Let's see if it'll help me just pull it out. Sometimes it does. Nope. So when that happens, I hate it, but you kind of got to wedge something in there. I don't have anything plastic I really want to figure out, so I just take this flathead and, as long as I'm damaging the inside of the coating, I don't really care. And I don't really care in general either. If it's a little marred up, gives a shit. Pull out the battery guy. This is a 1632. Let's see. Right? 1620, sorry. 1620 battery. I recommend keeping one in your toolkit. I always keep one in this little Fix-It Sticks bag. So you don't get out to the range and go, oh, fuck, my battery died because I'm an idiot and left it on or whatever. Although these do have shake awake. And I don't think they have a sensor for automatic adjustment, which is good. I can hate that option. So I'm going to Loctite this screw as well, because that's one of the failure points on dots is this battery tray kind of pops out. These don't have a spring-loaded one like some of those Holosens that have issues, but still, I don't want a lot of Loctite. I just want a dot. I'm being careful. There we go. Rub that in with my finger. Drop the screw in. For some reason, these screws don't want to thread right away. They're always a pain in the ass. Try to not cross thread, but just getting it to thread at all is the hard part, honestly. There we go. Okay. Don't want to damage it, but I got Loctite on it, so it should hold. And there we go. Now we can check if it works. It does work. One thing about this dot is it has a 6 MOA red dot, which is different for OSight. I've personally only ever seen 3 MOA, and I think 2 MOA from them. I've never seen 6. And I've never actually tried anything bigger than I think a 3 MOA, if I'm not mistaken. Let me see. The C here is not going to tell me, is it? 3 MOA. So the C is a 3 MOA. The Cat EDG I recently used is a 3 MOA. The SE is a 2 MOA, and then it's multi-reticle. My SRO is 2.5. My HD is, I don't know what, I can't remember, probably 2.5 as well. But this is a 6 MOA, and it is dot only. So you do not have the option for the donut of death. This is a more affordable option. So anyway, that's a look at it. The brightness is not going to be as bright either, I don't think, as the SE or the S. If it's anything comparable to the C compared to the X, it's got 8 brightness levels instead of 10. So let's see, we're all the way up right now. So we'll do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I couldn't see the last one, but it could be there's 2 night vision modes. So let me just hit down a couple times to be safe, and I'll start going up. 1, 2, can't see those. 3, I can see. Can you? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And I'll see if it goes any brighter. 9. So 9, it seems like, on this one. So either 8 or 9, I'm not sure. But it does look a little brighter than that C got, so it could be. But that dot looks huge. I have an astigmatism, so it looks like a giant just star. Hopefully that's not so bad outside in the sun, but we'll see. To turn these off, it's shake awake, but I don't like using it when I don't need to. You just hold both buttons for a second. Oops. If you can. There we go. And now it is off. So there you go. I'm just going to throw a little bit of lube on some of these parts, and then we're going to install this bad boy. So I'm going to take this plate and these plate screws and this rear sight that we don't need, and we're going to put all of that in here with the other parts like so. I really hope they come out with a bodyguard with this optic system on it, but we'll see. So I usually put a little dot or a little bit of lube up here around the front of the barrel, and then as soon as I do that, I go, you know what, I'm just going to put some on the whole barrel. So I'll do this, and then I'll rub it all in, kind of jerk it off, you know. I mean, if anybody's still watching, I'll be amazed. Let me know in the comments if you make it, but that's how we do on this channel. I usually put a little bit on that ramp. I don't know how controversial that is, but basically I'm just putting some oil on shit here. The recoil spring, I will also oil up a little bit just for fun. Why not? Okay. Clean this off. See if there's a bunch of black schmutz on here. Yeah, usually is. Not a big deal, but you know, let's put a little bit of oil on it. It's gotta travel through some stuff. No big deal. Okay. Done. The slide, I will do a little bit here. Do a little bit here. A little bit down here. Then I really like to get some down in here. And then along the rail. Like that. Nothing else really in here. Oh, right here is a good spot because that's where the barrel smashes into the slide usually. So I usually load that up a little bit. Load up my recoil spring area. You know, I just put fucking oil on it. Maybe a little too much sometimes, but can't hurt. Got a little white stuff here. I don't know what that is. I guess that's already some wear right there. So that is a great spot to put some. Right there. And then again, I already have some on the slide, but you know, why not, man? Put a dot on the hammer and rub it in. Anywhere else do I need any? I think that's probably good. I've probably covered it. All right. So then we're going to take our barrel, slot it in. We're going to take our recoil spring, slot her in. Like so. I do like that it's pretty easy and straightforward on that end. And then we're going to take our slide, plop that on. I'm assuming this is going to be just like any other 1911. That link in there needs to be lined up. So you want that to go in like so. Then you want to roll it, push it back till you get to your spot. Oh, wait, I went too far. I went too far, no. Pull it back. So I want to line it up with that first notch right there. And then I want to push that in. And I want to make sure this also gets jammed in. That's what she said. Pop it in. Make sure it's in place over here. It's in place over there. Get some oil and shit off my hands. And then I'm going to check shit. Doesn't work. Does work. Slide works. Slide lock works. Do that one time. I don't really love doing that, but do it one time. Both slide locks work. Again, pretty straightforward. Trigger does feel better, I will say, to when I was at the FFL and I took it out of the box. Ooh, was that like a half cock? Did you see that? Huh, interesting. I do think it looks a little goofy with the dot, this area back here. I wish that you could do something here. Maybe I'm an idiot. Maybe you can. It looks a little weird, right? Doesn't it look like there'd be something that like pops in there? Is there something I missed? I just want to double check. So is there like a piece that comes off of here? It almost looks like this back piece right here would go in there, you know? I guess this is what was sitting there, though. This was sitting in the back, right? You wouldn't be able to get under there, right? So like, it's not like you could take this off and then, nah. I think it's just supposed to look like this. I think it would have been really cool of Smith & Wesson to add a little wedge right here. Because it just looks a little incomplete right now to me. Right here, you see that? Maybe there's some dots that are longer or something. That's why they do that. Yeah, there is like a half cock, which you cannot pull the trigger on. You can put the safety up, which is interesting. Oh, you can put the safety up when the hammer's down. I don't think I can do that on my staccato. Okay, interesting. But yeah, there it is. Oh, I turned it off, right? It feels good in the hand like this. I mean, add a little extra grip. I mean, holy shit. I mean, it feels like a full-size gun right now. Grip-wise, obviously, I mean, 3.6 inches is not nothing. But we'll see how it shoots, you know. I think it would be badass with a little port up here. Kind of like the carry comp version of the Bodyguard would be dope. Move the slide, or move the front sight back a little bit. Cut in a notch here. And then cut a port in the barrel. Be pretty cool. So that is the Smith & Wesson CSX E-Series. Those are my first impressions and thoughts after having it for a few hours and basically learning everything I just learned with you guys. If I missed anything, please let me know in the comment section. Let's get this fucking magazine out of here. Let me know in the comment section what I missed. If there's anything cool on this gun that I didn't realize. If there's something with this optic area that I didn't realize. But there's a lot going on here. I do wish the trigger was better. Man, they really had a shot to totally nail it on this with a nice 3-pound, 3.5-pound trigger. You have a safety. Like, you got to trust people with the safety, you know. Then you have a dingus too. So, you know, I assume it's drop safe in 3.5 pounds. I mean, 4 pounds. Like, give me something. But what was it? 6.5, 7 pounds? Like, that's just eesh, man. If it does come down to 4.5 after, you know, a few hundred rounds, thank God. But it'd be nice if it was 4 pounds and it came down to 3.5, you know? It is a weird kind of trigger, to be honest. I thought it would go straight back like a 1911 trigger, but it doesn't really. It kind of still looks like it's hinged. See that? And then when you pull it, it goes down. So it's not going back. Interesting. So it's not quite a 1911 trigger, I guess. Still, I like it so far, and I'm excited to get her out to the range. It feels super comfortable in the hand. I gotta say the bore axis is super low. I mean, look at that. For a hammer fire gun, that's probably one of the best, if not the best, bore axis I've seen. I mean, that's almost as tight as the Bodyguard is, which is the best one I've seen. Just rides really high in the hand. I love that. I am not a fan of guns with a tall ass bore axis like SIGs and stuff. This just feels amazing. The beaver tail is perfect. It is epically blended back here. I don't even know if you'd call it blending. I think you'd call it, you know, formed because it's polymer on this part. But it's comfortable. The grip feels great. I honestly don't even feel like I need the sandpaper handle it grips, which actually I just got. I got some for this. Let's see what it comes with. Ooh, don't want to lose that. There's little extra pieces, so you just gotta be careful here. See them falling out all over the place. That's cool. I love when they give you these extra pieces because you can put, you know, they're made for like up here, right? Look at that. So you get a nice spot to put your index finger. They'll have it for both sides. Let me just see. Don't think I missed anything. We have another one here for the other side. I'm putting these pieces on regardless. I mean, what are these little guys for? Little half moon guys. That'd be cool if they made one for back here to cover this shit up. It almost looks like it. I don't think that's what it's for, but put one right there. I don't know what those are for. Oh, no. I don't know. No idea. But let's see. Backstrap piece. Because there's different grip options. So I don't know how they assume you're going to fit it. But there's that. And then it wraps around. Like that. So it does cover the grip setup I have. And then the back strap obviously goes here. I do wish, though, that they included a piece for this. You know, gave you an extra piece down here or made this longer and gave you two. Yeah, see, look, it has the it has this little hook piece. So they're assuming you're doing the short grip. They should have an option for this longer grip because I want it to cover that full area. I might reach out to them and see what they think about that, but yeah, I'm digging it. I don't even think I need that though, but it's always good to have, you know, if you're not going to carry it on body because this is rough. So, anyway, let me know what you guys think down in the comments. I appreciate you guys. If you made it this far, definitely let me know. And I can't wait to get this puppy out to the range. And it's almost flush on there, too. It's nice. Can't wait to get it out to the range and test her out. So, I love you guys. I hope you have an absolutely fantastic day. And I will catch you later.